Alright, I'm going to jump right into this one and do a straight, short, and to the point review because people that know who this band is already know who they are, and the people that don't probably won't. But hopefully you might want to try and check them out after this. This is Garbage, one of the most quintessential 90s bands that if there ever was one. And it's one of those bands you may not know the music, but you probably would know it if you heard it, kind of like Zombie by the Cranberries. Zombie, zombie. That's right, that's the Cranberries if you hear that terrible impression. Anyway, these are the kind of songs that you just know. You don't know you are aware that who the artist is, but you know them because they're ingrained in our society. So let's jump into something of the history of the Cranberries because, well, quintessential 90s band, whether you know them or not, let's check it out. They're an American band with Scottish singer Shirley Manson, formed in Wisconsin in '93. A lot of these people will play together. Duke Erickson, Steve Mankier, and Butch Vig, the producer for a lot of things, including Nirvana's Nevermind. He wanted to make an album and write in a band together, but it just wasn't working with all the bands they tried, and they wanted to work with a female vocalist, someone kind of like Patti Smith, and they heard originally of a band called Angelfish, and they heard the video Suffocate Me, so they actually asked for a meeting with Manson, Shirley Manson, and when they first met, it was right around the time of Kurt Cobain's suicide, so they had to put this on hold for a long time. And I remember talking about this when they first met. Apparently, that didn't go well, like at all. The meeting of the band was just a disaster. Apparently, Manson describes. The two parties were just totally different, and they didn't agree with each other at all. Shirley Manson wanted to write heavier, Butch Vig wanted to write heavier grunge style stuff, and Manson wanted to write some more pop-friendly pop record stuff, and they just couldn't get together on that. And they end up sort of eventually working together to combine that, and that is kind of the sound of Garbage you're used to. Garbage sent out demo tapes under another name to avoid a bidding war over Butch Vig's famous name, and ended up on Mushroom UK worldwide. From there, they went on word of mouth and eventually ended up with Jeff Moss's label Albino Sounds for North America. From there, they kind of made a big name for themselves with Only Happy When It Rains and Subhuman. The singles from there were just what got them into the world. From there, they made it onto MTV. They made it on the road with a lot of famous bands. They were nominated for Grammys and won a couple, from my understanding. From there, they went on to make version 2.0 in '97, Beautiful Garbage in 2001, Bleed Like Me, 2003, and Absolute Garbage compilation, followed by a little bit of a break, and Not Your Kind of People in 2011, and they did a tour in 2014 of the 20th anniversary of their debut, and here we get to this one, Strange Little Birds. So, my review of Strange Little Birds. It's one of the things about Garbage is that they've always been a great understanding of the modern day music sound. They know that their sound has always been pop mixed with kind of a rock sensibility, but they always combine the styles and sounds of the normal current music scene, and they do it like a 90s chameleon. It's kind of cool. Sometimes opens with this ominously vast and dark synth sound that comes in waves before this much sharper and droning background with Shirley singing about love and hate, attempting to forgive others before she can forgive herself. It's a dark and jagged song about, the insecurity in everyone. Empty is the lead single, and its standout lead single, highlight, absolute highlight. It brings back immediate sounds of the classic Garbage we're all used to. It's a chorus sing-along that we love from them. Garbage does the sing-along just great. The rest of the song is an insanely catchy electro rock tune that just, soars above everything, and the topic of pain never loses off. It's huge here, feeling empty inside. It's hard not to relate to that. Blackout is another personal highlight with Shirley channeling just inner vocal witch coven as she casts a spell with its powerful low-ranging vocals. The bass here grinds this fuzzy bass line along as it floats the chorus until we get to an explosion as Shirley chimes in another huge sing-along. It's a perfect example of just Garbage doing what they do best, blending pop with rock, and the grinding of this new pop sound works well with these modern-day synth sounds they've adapted, and that's what they do. If I Lost You is a straightforward 90s electro-pop song. It's not my favorite. It kind of keeps that intimacy of it, It's got a great mix to it, thanks to Butch, and I think even though it's a lighter song, they do a great job of creating this dark, intimate, crazy moment you want to see through. Night Drive Loneliness starts with a great guitar line, but moves into a smooth, oozing, dark, regretful, love-lost song. It's, a sensual song about having time to yourself to lament about past mistakes. Shirley does a great job with just showing immense pain with these vocals. From there, it's Even Though Our Love Is Doomed starts with a great bass line and ambient electronic sounds before reaching this full grinding peak, where Shirley finds her most intimate feelings of self-hate as the bass grinds. Chorus pop levels, it's a little over the top with the pain of topic of it, but it keeps itself in check without going too far over. Magnetized is just full-on electro rocker. The sound of the bass and electro rock are just overdrive here as they soar into an all-new mix of perfect over-the-top rock songs. They pioneered the rock on the heavier side here, and We Never Tell starts with this great drum beat from Butch and then lets the electro pop back in. Again, one of the more pop-sounding ones. Straightforward pop mixes they lose a little bit of the balance, the garbage balance, the pop-rock balance. They just teeter off a little bit here, and it's probably why it's my least favorite track because of that. On So We Stay Alive, So We Can Stay Alive forgoes all pop sensibilities and makes just a soaring electro rocker, and I love it. The song is one of my favorites on the album, and it shows the full force electronics and a loud guitar force. This is kind of that self-loathing, less of that, but more of like just pure hatred and fury about people getting in your way when you finally want to get back on track. Could be a Muse song if it was Matt Bellany on lyrics instead of Shirley Manson, and it's an absolute highlight. Teaching Little Fingers to Play, completely different. They decide to go and embrace another pop ballad on this one. It's more of a ballad than just an over-the-top cheese pop song, but it's still, I feel like they lose that balance again. It maintains that sinister garbage sound while they're being intimate about it, but I don't know, it's not my favorite. And then we get to Amends, which is my favorite. It's probably the highlight of the whole album because it's everything about garbage that I love. Starts slow, progresses, and Shirley just tries to forgive herself as she climbs up this build to a huge chorus as the song goes to the loudest section on the album. There's a few mistakes. It strongly switches too heavy into pop at a couple moments, but the writing is so strong here that it's easy to forgive. And this album, honestly, I think that it shines as so powerful and emotionally mature. Shirley's vocals and lyrics are great, and the reinvention with this 21st century synths is just so slight. They adapt so well. The album's reason that it succeeds isn't because of the adapting, but more because I think they stopped trying to care about what people want them to make and made an album that they wanted to make that was like the garbage, if garbage was just, the 21st century of the very first Garbage. I think that's what they wanted to do, and that's what fans want from them anyway. So, with the more mature lyrics from Shirley, just painful lyrics, they were able to create the 21st century Garbage album, and that's what people wanted from them, not something new and poppy. Recommend Empty, Blackout, So We Can Stay Alive, and Amends. Honestly, I think it's the best one since version 2. 4 out of 5.